Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video, we're going to talk start collecting Warhammer 40,000, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Aeldari, and in particular their Combat Patrol box set. In this video, we're going to go through the contents of the Combat Patrol box set and what these units do and how they can work on the tabletop, and briefly or what we can build them as well, all the unit options, etc. We'll then take a look at some other units we can use to expand upon this initial box set to hopefully give us some other options, and then finally finish off the video combining this box set and some of the other things we talk about in the video to a sample army list of 1,000 points to hopefully give you some inspiration for starting your own Aeldari army in Warhammer 40k 10th edition. And so, to begin with, first of all, we have the Farseer. That is the character we're going to get to be able to lead this box. Now, the Farseer has a couple of different options, namely in its choice of combat weapon, though one of the combat weapons also has the ability to be a ranged weapon. The Witchblade is the standard one. This will have anti-infantry too, and it is also a psychic weapon with nice damage too. But you can also have a singing spear as well, which will drop the anti-infantry rule, but will gain damage 3 rather than damage 2. Other than that, it will also gain a shooting profile, which is damage 3 at strength 9, though no AP. Other than that, you have the Branching Fate's Psychic Power, where once per turn, when you use a Fate Dust to substitute a roll made for a model within 12 inches of Farseer from your army, one model from your army with this ability can use it, and if you do so, the first dice is changed to a 6. You also have the Fortune Psychic Power, where in your command phase you can reroll 1d6, and on a 2+, you select a friendly Aeldari unit within 12 inches of the Psyker, and until the next command phase, each time an attack targets that unit, you subtract 1 from the wound rolls. Now we then have the Guardians. Now the Guardians can be built as two separate kits. First of all, we have Guardian Defenders, and then we also have Storm Guardians. Now Guardian Defenders come armed with Shuriken Catapults. These are going to be an assault weapon with an 18-inch range, 2 shots, strength of 4, -1 AP, and damage 1. Their big thing is the Defenders of Fate, where at the end of the command phase, for each objective mark you control that has one or more units from your army with this ability within range of it, you roll a d6 and you add it to your Fate dice pool, displaying the result you just rolled to your opponent. You also have the ability to take a heavy weapon platform with the Guardian Defenders as well. This can be a variety of different weapons, from Aeldari missile launchers, which are good sort of all-comer weapon. You've got the Bright Lance, a perfect anti-tank, the Scatter Laser, which is great for clearing out low wound hordes, and you've also got the ability for Shuriken Cannons as well, which will gain you sustained hits, a few less shots, but higher strength and rend and damage too, so a little bit more potent than the Scatter Laser, but still generally going to be going against infantry. Storm Guardians are the other option for the kit, and they've got a few cool weapons they can take. For every 10 models in the unit, you've got the option to take 2 Flamers, 2 Power Weapons, and 2 Guardian Fusion Guns as well. So you can have some anti-tank, some anti-horde, and indeed some close combat weapons in the unit as well, which is really cool. Now at the end of your command phase, if this unit's within range of an objective marker, they will gain control of that objective marker and can freely move off it, effectively gaining what is known in the community as sticky objectives, where they can control an objective and freely move off it. This is a really powerful ability, allowing you to still keep using your units, and especially good on like more offensive units like the Storm Guardians, who are going to be wanting to move and get close to the enemy to use most of their weaponry. Now you've also got the crew platform like the Guardian Defenders, but this time you have a Serpent Shield, which will give the Bearers unit a 5+ invulnerable save instead. We then have 6 Windrider jetbikes in this. Now, these jetbikes can be armed with a variety of different weapons. To start with, they come with twin Shuriken Catapults, which gain the Assault and Twin Linked rule. 2 attacks each with Ballistical 3+, Strength 4, -1 AP, and damage 1. Though you can upgrade these to a Shuriken Catapult, which will gain sustained hits 1, get an extra attack, and indeed up some strength and damage. The other weapon option is the Scatter Laser, and this is pretty much the same thing we just talked about on the weapon platforms of the Guardians. The Scatter Laser is pure anti-horde, where the Shuriken Cannon is a little bit more powerful and better generally against things with its strength 6 over strength 5 against things like Space Marines and stuff like that. Now, you've also got the Swift Demise, where each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible target, you can reroll the hit rolls of 1, and if that target is within range of an objective your opponent controls, you can just reroll the hit roll entirely. Lastly, we have the Wraithlord. Now, the Wraithlords are really fun. They've got lots of customizable bits to them. You can have a Ghost Glaive, which is a really cool close combat weapon. 4 attacks at its strike at strength 10, d6 damage plus 1. Or you can sweep, where you'll double your attacks, but you will drop down to damage 2 and strength 7, but you do double those attacks. You can have a couple of heavy weapons mounted on the shoulders, and these can be the same options we've talked about for the other weapon platform already. And then you've also got the ability to have your wrist-mounted weapons either be shuriken catapults, or you can have some Aeldari flamers. Now, you do have the Fated Hero, where each time this model destroys an enemy unit, you roll a d6 and add it to your Fate Dust, displaying the result to your opponent. So, pretty cool way to get some extra Fate Dust with a couple of different units inside this initial box set. Today's video is brought to you by Gap Games, a fantastic retailer in Australia for a variety of different miniature war games. If you'd like to help support the channel, we have an affiliate link where by clicking on and purchasing, you'll help support the channel, but you'll also help support Gap Games, which is a fantastic servant to the community. And so, after that initial box set, where do we begin to look to next? And I definitely think there's a couple of extra characters we can look to grab for the Eldar Force that will really help a couple of the units we've got here. And so the first of these is the Autarch. The Autarchs are able to join either of the two different Guardian-style squads, but I particularly like the ability to join Storm Guardians because it can really help them be able to deal damage without taking any in return. And this is because he has the ability to take a Howling Banshee Mask, which gives the Always Strikes First rule to the unit he joins. On top of this, you can also add in, say, another fusion gun to his weaponry to up the damage dealing potential against armor for your unit. But he can also take the Starglaive, which I think is a really nice weapon for him. 5 attacks there, 3+ to hit, strength 6, minus 2 AP, damage 2. Can even help him do some damage against some tougher opponents as well. Now, on top of that, Superlative Strategist means once per turn you can target this model's unit with a stratagem, even if you've already used that stratagem on a different unit this phase. And you also have the Path of Command, where at the start of your command phase, if this model is your Warlord, you just gain a CP for having this model. So straight away, like, that CP gaining is worth having this model on the table just by itself for its points cost, but having the other bits and pieces to go along with it, I think, is really nice. Another character to have a look at is the Spirit Seer. Now, the Spirit Seer has a cool ability. You can actually join the Wraithlord we have in the initial box set, but can also join Wraith Guard and Wraith Blades as well. But it has a couple of different rules that it's going to provide. Spirit Mark, while this is leading a unit, weapons in that unit have the lethal hits, and each time a model unit makes an attack, you can add one to the hit roll. So this will really help our Wraithlord, dropping them down to nice 3s to hit. And the Tears of Isha Psychic means while this model is leading a unit in the command phase, you can return one destroyed bodyguard model to that unit. Though, obviously, it can't be leading a Wraithlord unit if the Wraithlord is destroyed, so not particularly helpful with this, but if you go and start to get them having something like leading Wraith Blades or Wraith Guard, can potentially return the models to the unit, is really nice. You've also got a Shuriken Pistol and the Witch Staff there for a little bit of damage coming out of this model as well. Now, we do have the Storm Guardians and indeed the Autarch we were talking about, so having a look at a transport for them, which is the Wave Serpent, can carry up to 12 models. This is something I really like to bring along, can help get our units across the table where they need to be. Now, the cool thing about Storm Guardians is they do not always need to charge straight out of a vehicle. They have the ability to move around, they've got decent shooting, and this is why we've gone for talking about something like a fusion gun on the Autarch that would be joining them. But we've also got the ability with the Wave Serpent to take some extra heavy weapons in there as well, as can have a twin-linked variation of any of the main Aeldari heavy weapons we've talked about, Bright Lances, Scatter Lasers, all that sort of stuff on top as well. But it's also got the Wave Serpent shield, where once per battle you can select one enemy unit within 12-inch invisible to this model and roll a d6. On a 2+, the enemy unit will suffer d3 wounds, and it'll also have to take a battle shock test. Now, lastly, we have the Fire Prism. This is a dedicated tank for the Aeldari, and it is a tank hunter. Now, you've also got the ability to actually do some horde killing with this, and this is why I potentially like this over some of the other tanks we have access to, and then it has the ability to play a variety of different roles. The Prism cannon spells can either fire in the Dispersed Pulse, which is a blast and will have a 60-inch range with 2d6 shots, Ballistic Skill 3+, Strength 6, minus 1 AP, damage 2. So still pretty decent on the shots there. They can actually do some damage to things like Space Marines and stuff like that. Or it can fire 2 shots and its Focused Lances, which which will gain the linked fire rule, which allows you to effectively, if you've got multiple fire prisms on the table, fire from the vantage point of each one. They can use each other for line of sight. But this is strength 18, minus 4 AP, damage 6. Can be really nice. The crystal targeting matrix on it as well allows each time this model is selected to shoot, you can reroll 1 hit roll and reroll 1 wound roll when resolving the attacks of the model. And so here we have our sample army list for the Aeldari. The Autarch is going to be our Warlord because of course this means we're going to get those free CP every turn that's on the table. We then have a Dragon Fusion Gun, Starglaive and Howling Banshee Mask as we talked about. I think this is my preferred loadout for one. A Farseer with Singing Spear and a Spirit Seer will round out our character options. Now battle line wise we have one of each unit of Guardians in this force. The Storm Guardians there with all their upgrades and the Guardian Defenders have taken a Bright Lance platform. Mounted units, we have 6 Windrider jetbikes, and they will all take shuriken cannons, as I think it's probably the best weapon option for them. Monsters, we have a Wraithlord with 2 Aeldari Flamers, Ghostglaive, and 2 Aeldari missile launchers. The reason we're going with missile launchers on this particular fighter here instead of, say, Bright Lancers, which are the better anti-armor, is because we've already got the Flamers, we're already sort of going anti-infantry. So the Aeldari missile launchers let us provide some damage into lighter vehicles and lighter monsters, while also being able to provide some extra horde damage help in case the Wraithlord ever gets bogged down. We then have a Fire Prism upgraded with a Shuriken Cannon, and then the Wave Serpent rounding out the force as a dedicated transport for the Storm Guardians and Autarch there, with the Twin Bright Lance and Shuriken Cannon on it as well. If you've got some ideas for the Aeldari in Warhammer 40k 10th edition, especially using the Combat Patrol as a start for the force, I'd love to hear your thoughts and what your ideas are for the army down in the comments below. And so that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me, we have a Discord server for the channel, and that is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel. This is either via Patreon or YouTube members using one of our affiliate links and codes down there, like Baron of Dice, Gap Games or Mithras Games, or by supporting us directly on Patreon or YouTube members. If you'd like to do any of those, we have links for that all in the description. And as a special thank you to our Patrons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Soren, Kenny Lowell, Alderan Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Q Dynamic, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Colorblind Magic, Grimscold, and Andy C. And our YouTube members, Greenridge Gaming, Ronya, Lock Loric, The Johnny84, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, James Tillman, Disco, and John Castle. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Once again, everyone, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.